Hi everyone, my name is Dari Luna. At Dari Luna _ on Instagram, at I am Dari Luna on TikTok. Today we have an amazing and very important subject on how consciousness can lead us to less suffering. Why is this such an important subject for us? Well, because we're all in some way or another in our lifespan dealing with pain. Pain is a way that life has to help us evolve, to help us grow. So pain is always going to be there through difficult situations. However, because we are hardwired to look at these difficult situations as danger, we really haven't learned how to deal with pain. So we make pain become suffering. And that is because we don't really know how to process, manage, and deal with our emotions as they are coming up with these difficult circumstances. And our tendency is to go and want to change the circumstances, change the people involved in our circumstances, hoping that if that changes out there, I can feel better. But don't we know that that doesn't work, right? Because we can't change other people. And because those circumstances are here as a reflection of who we already are. So let's get started. Okay, so this is a very relatable topic that it's going to help you, yes or yes. Because if you are going through a hard situation right now where there's a lot of adversity, of course this is going to help you because you probably need some tools or some affirmation meaning acknowledgement that there is a way to go through this process so that you can learn and grow and allow evolution to happen without getting stuck in the suffering. But if you're not going through a really hard time right now, there's still a very helpful part of this video that's going to be very relatable to you. Because if you feel that you're not going through adversity, that means that you are in a way in a comfortable space, in a comfortable spot in your life. And you have to be careful with that. Not careful in a sense of don't enjoy life and don't enjoy certain levels that you get into life, but careful in a way that remember that adversity and all the pain that we suffer as a means to grow always comes in a very hidden way through our lives. It surprises us. It's very tough to predict unless you are very aware and present in each moment in your life. And chances are you're not. Because as human beings in today's day, it's really easy to take things for granted. So the moment you're taking things for granted or you feel that you've already done that in that stage of your life, like, oh yes, my life as a fill in the blank, right? Whatever role you've played in life, right? My life as a father, my life as a mother, as a parent, as a professional, my career, right? The dreams that I wanted to do. If you have any of those areas in your life where you feel like I'm done because I got to where I needed to get, then chances are that area is for you in a space where you're taking it for granted. And chances are that there's a lot more work and depth that you can go in that area. And I recommend that if you're feeling in that stage of comfortableness in a lot of those areas, start tackling them. I know there's a phrase that says, why fix it if it's not broken? Well, I really don't like that phrase because in reality, everything is already moving all the time, whether we see it or not. Everything is in a process. So that idea that something is not broken, why fix it, comes from a foundation where we think things are just static, right? Like my relationships are static, my families are static, meaning they're not going to change, right? And that's not true. We're all changing, not only human beings, but life in and of itself. It's moving in cycles at all times. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to help us see these 4 different stages of consciousness through the way in which Dr. Michael Beckwith saw it. So based on his 4 levels of consciousness, we always are in one of 4, okay? So stage number 1, and very important, these stages are not linear, right? Meaning we don't just go linearly up in the stages and then never come back to 1. On the opposite, throughout our whole life, we are jumping around the different stages, and a lot of times we come back to 1. What happens is we realize that we are in 1 faster, so our bounce back rate becomes better. And also because we have a lot more tools to take ourselves out of those stages. And that's what I want to do with this video. I want us to think about, well, what tools can I have? What tools can I implement? First, to recognize from what lens I'm looking at this problem right now. So before we go on, my suggestion to you is pick a specific situation, okay? Pick a specific area in your life that is bothering you, that it's making you feel maybe anxious, or that it's not where you want it to be, or a situation where there's really a big chaotic or big problem or crisis that it's really pushing you out and that you're feeling it right in the core. You are in survival mode, trying to grasp yourself out of that situation. Just pick one for the sake of looking at yourself into these 4 stages, okay? So stage number 1 is the stage where I feel that whatever is happening outside of me is happening to me, and I have no ability to stop that because I have no control of that. So that, of course, is the stage of victimhood, yeah? In that stage, things happen to us, yeah? We cannot see how in this planet am I going to stop these people from doing that. And the only way we see that this can get better if the circumstances change, right? We don't see any other way out of that, okay? And it appears that life just governs that, and we have no way to deal with that, okay? A lot of the phrases that come out of this stage is like, why this happens to me? And it could be not in a whining way, but just really like, wow, like, why this happens to me? Most of the times in that position, you compare yourself from the people that you have outside, and you feel like this doesn't happen to them in the way that it happens to you. Okay, maybe you can, if I ask you to find somebody that is going through it in a worse matter, or that it's having a really hard time, or at the same level than you, maybe you can find and assure yourself that there is people in this planet that are. But most likely the people that are closest to you, or even the people that you're just looking on social media or TV, or even the Netflix series or whatever, it's more in touch with your brain, with your mind, feels like you are singled out, and that this situation has never, other people don't feel it as hard as you feel it, okay? So the very important part of that stage is to acknowledge that we jump into this stage many, many times throughout our life, and many, many times throughout our week, and many, many times throughout our day. You know, even in little seconds when we're just saying, wow, I can't believe it's raining today. Like, you know, this is awful. Right there in that moment, I am in a victim stage. Okay, I'm not saying, well, you could allow yourself to be there. It's not really a matter that, it's not a matter of a stage is not good or a stage is good to be in it. It's not really about that. It's about being conscious that we are in that stage, because that makes all the difference. That's why consciousness makes all the difference, because it is through consciousness that we can then label it to tame it, right? Label it to tame it. If I don't know that I am in that phase, or that I am in that level of consciousness, then I'm lost, right? I'm taking the risk of ignorance right there, and which is huge risk. Huge risk. What am I risking when I'm in this stage and I don't know it and I don't acknowledge it? Well, first and foremost, I'm risking my ability to not make pain suffering. Yeah. Because pain is our biggest teacher. And I can use pain as my edge point to grow, or I can use pain as the force that just pushes me even deeper into suffering. And what's going to make that difference, my ability to do either or, is how conscious I am of where I'm standing. One, this is huge, right? And then the second one is, what else am I risking? Well, am I risking my ability to evolve? How am I risking my ability to evolve? Because when I am in victim stage, I cannot express and deliver the gifts that I came to this world to deliver. I cannot reach my full potential. Yeah, because my mind, my soul, my whole entity, my avatar is focused on blaming and shaming, right? A lot of times this blame and this shame comes from my primary wound. What is a primary wound? Well, your primary wound is that mold that was created when you were raised and when you came into this world, meaning when you were a baby. The way in which you responded or you learned to respond to your caregivers as your attachment instinct was pressed into a mold in your brain. For example, if you got used to the idea that it doesn't matter how much you cry and how much you express your emotions, especially sadness and rage or anger, and you got completely ignored and you weren't allowed to express those emotions, because as a baby, those emotions were your currency, you weren't allowed to exchange them for any love or safety or acknowledgement, not because your caregivers were bad people, but because your caregivers didn't know how to do that, because probably nobody did that to them. And so they were doing the best they could. But what got into that mold in your subconscious, right, is I am never allowed to express how sad or how angry I feel. And so I am going to go through life and use the currency of independence and the currency of I can figure it all out without needing anyone, because that's the way I know how to do things. And that is very intrinsically intertwined and DNA information at a cellular level in your subconscious, right? In your neurology. And so if you've never touched that, or if you've never thought about that, if you've never done work with your limiting beliefs and your subconscious work, chances are is that the situations that get you in victim mode, yeah, are taking you there because they're touching that primary wound. What I mean by this is your behavior in and of itself, it's not something you can rely on to get you out of victim mode all the time, or to keep you out of victim mode all the time. So chances are is that you're going to come back because there is programming. It's like a computer, it's programmed to do that. The moment I suppress my emotions, right? The moment it's just me and my emotions, meaning I can't, we are social beings that need to interconnect through emotion maturity and emotion well-being for a healthy life outside, meaning that what it's going to allow me to reach my goals and so on. If I am just repressing myself, right, it's going to be really hard for me to get out of that shame, right, to get out of that blame. And therefore, I'm going to blame and shame people that are expressing their emotions. that is also being in the victim stage. Yeah. So, level 1, stage 1, things happen to me and I am a victim. How do I get out of this level? Well, first of all, recognize it. And this is why this is so helpful, because what I want to give you as a tool to keep in your toolbox is to say, wait, what level am I at right now? Anytime you feel an uncomfortable feeling or a situation just came to trigger you on your face, just ask yourself, okay, where am I right now? What stage am I in? And also, because the thing about that is, like, you want to be conscious of it, because you might be able to allow yourself to say, well, I want to stay here. I actually want to stay here for the next 5 minutes because I need it. I want to blame myself and I want to shame myself. Hey, you're able to do that if you want to do that. You're totally welcome to do that. But notice the difference. You're conscious. You're conscious and you're giving yourself, notice how there's a parent that is allowing that for yourself, right? There is an observer that is saying, I'm going to stay here for 10 minutes. Very different than when I'm doing it in autopilot. Okay, so how do I get to the second level, and what's the second level? So the second stage is stage number 2, which is the total opposite. This one makes you feel like, I can happen to life. Not always life happens to me. I have a broader view. Think about the consciousness levels like something that expands like this, right? And in each level, the one before is inclusive in there, right? So I expand a little bit more. And now I can see that, yes, life seems to be happening to me, but I also can happen to life, right? And I deeply in my core, in a specific moment when I'm in that stage, believe that, right? And how is it possible that I happen to life? Like, how is it possible that I have some sort of effect into life? Well, because there is a life law that is in place. It's almost like a universal law, right? That says to me, hey, with your attention, right, and your energy that you put in that attention, you can, right, project in different ways. But what you're maneuvering, the levels that you're maneuvering are inside of you, not outside in the projection, right? Are inside of you. And you can maneuver that through effective attention, right? Focusing on one thing. And isn't that true, right? Whatever you focus on expands. Not just only, I'm saying it as a means of manifestation, but I'm saying it as a means of, if I am, this is also happening in the victim stage, meaning if I'm only focusing on how much this headache hurts, isn't it that a way where I'm going to feel it more? Yeah, I'm going to feel it more. If I get distracted, even though I have a headache, and somebody's just like speaking really soft to me, and it's just telling me about this song, and like, I'm not saying the headache disappears, but can you see how it's not going to expand? And this is why this law, it's so important that we're able to at least see it and be open to it as we're getting out of victim mode. And we're getting out of victim mode, we have to drop shame and blame and guilt. Shame, blame, guilt. Yeah? That's the path that is going to take me to stage 2. Can I jump from stage 1 to stage 2 quick? Yes, because it's all about practicing. And a lot of times what happens when we get the same pattern over and over again is that I am now better at practicing how to get out of here, right? Because I now understand it's my change of perspective that's going to help me see a different projection. But you see how I understand that from jumping from stage 1 to stage 2? First, things just happened to me. Now, oh yeah, that is true. but I happen to things too, and I want to focus on that. Yeah, so in that stage, what I'm feeling and what I'm saying is, if I control my will and I control my attention, then I have a grasp on life. Yeah, then I can reach what I believe I want to reach. Not that I can control people, right? Not that I can go against the adversities on my life, but within the adversities that come into my life, I have an understanding that I am still, right, the person leading my life, because I and the things I decide to do have an effect in life. Yeah. So that's stage 2. And that's a beautiful stage to be. Again, as long as we're aware, right? Because as long as I'm aware I'm here, I have a better ability to use my tools and to see pain as a teacher. This is why levels of consciousness is so important, because then I'm not suffering, because I know my ways around. In the moment I decide to feel pain as a means of transformation, I decided consciously, not an autopilot, not sleepwalking. How many people do we know? Us, for sure, have done that many times. I've done it many times, right? We're human beings. But how easy it is to see it when other people are sleepwalking and they're just like, they can't see themselves, how they're just caving um, their own hole while they're just complaining and complaining about who is to blame, who is to shame, or you can see them how they're hiding in their own shame, because the shame of what they're feeling cannot even let them express their gifts into this world. We see it all the time and we do it all the time. So what's the trick here? Awareness. And this video, it's to help you bring that awareness back when you need it. Yeah. Okay, now what is stage 3? So stage 3 is that stage where life is not happening to me and I don't happen to life, but instead I just discover that life happens through me. Yeah? Through me. This is stage 3. In this stage, I'm not a victim. It's not by law that I affect people, but what I am is a vessel, a channel, meaning my whole avatar, my existence in this dimension is the channel from which life is expressing through, as long, of course, as I allow it. Because if I am victim mode, I cannot allow it, right? If I am just the one thinking, hey, I have the power and I control everything and all my thoughts, I also cannot allow for life to express through me, right? So what do I have to give up in stage 2 in order to jump and see myself in stage 3 in front of that circumstance that you pick at the beginning of this video? Well, I have to drop control and power. I have to drop it, because in order to let life express itself through my authenticity, then I have to let go. I have to let go and let God. Yeah, I have to let go. I'm not saying let go means you don't go anymore to work, you just let life push you through and in and out. No, that's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is a precise feeling that you are the vehicle through which life is guiding different expressions, most of the time creative expressions, right? In any different way. What is it that your gifts, what is it that you're bringing here right now to this gathering, to this party, to this bus station, to this video? Like, what is so unique in you? Because you are a unique expression of the infinite forms of life expression, right? When you see a flower, what is it that you're bringing here? Oh, wow, you're bringing this scent, you're bringing, you flower this way. There isn't two same flowers. They seem like they're the same, right? Just like human beings could seem that we're the same, but we're not the same, right? And so here is when we understand that there is a bigger intelligence that created me and that it's having its being through me. It's breathing through me. I'm not the one breathing. There's something breathing in me. I don't even think about when to breathe or how not to breathe, or no, there's something. It's like I'm plugged into something. And for many, many years, up to 100 and something years, a human being lives plugged in that energy of life. Yeah. And so we are that vehicle. Yeah. And in that vehicle, what we feel, right, is that, wow, this is not me. Have you guys ever felt that? Like, it's not me. It's not me that is doing this. Let's say you're a musician and you're just playing the guitar and people are like, wow, that was amazing. And you understand that, yes, you are the one doing, you are the one that took the classes. You're the one that's doing all that stuff. However, there is something coming through, some ideas, the way you did it, the rhythm, the thing, the added seasoning that you're putting into that. It's almost like it's not you. It's not from this dimensional. Its dimension is coming from somewhere. Yeah. Like I stand in front of the camera to this video. I have a specific things that I want to say, but what comes through? How come it's coming through? How come? I did not plan every single word that I'm saying here, right? I'm not. And so how come it's coming through? There's something. We're always co-creating with life. Yeah. So what's stage 4? Stage 4 is as me. So stage 1 was life happens to me, right? Stage 2 is I happen to life. Stage 3 is life happens through me. And stage 4 is life is as me. I am one with life. I am not the victim. I am not the law. I am not the vessel. I am one with life. We could say that this stage is the enlightenment stage. We could say that, yeah? This is the stage where I experience 100% of who I am as that love intelligence that's governing the universe. Meaning that intelligence that makes the planets, right, go around in that perfect order, that intelligence that makes everything work perfectly through my body, I feel it and I embody it 100% as who I am in any given moment. That, when I'm in that place, that's stage 4. Because I realize I am the universe and the universe is me. Everything contained in the universe is contained in me, right? I'm an individualized expression of the universe in me. Oh, what a beautiful stage, right? A lot of times we're not here. A lot of times we're not here. And that's okay because we're living in a duality world, right? There's duality in the world that we're living. Still have to go to work, have to pay the bills, all that stuff. However, again, why are we doing this video? Because consciousness, our awareness that we could be at this level is what can give us the tools to nurture more presence in our life so that we can approach the adversity, the circumstances, and the pain that is inevitable in life as a force of evolution through the lens of these 4 stages. Yeah. So what happens here? What's the opportunity that I have here? Well, I have opportunity to experience limitless consciousness in this stage. It's an example of this stage could be like when you have a child and the right moment that you see the eyes of that child when it's born, that 1 second, right? The magic of that second, the magic of living in that moment. It's almost like it's an out-of-body experience, right? It's a moment where time stops. It's a moment where everything is one. Yeah? Can you feel that? And so if I am stuck in, most likely if I'm stuck, I'm in level 1, stage 1. How can I use these 4 levels to to make it better? Well, the tips that I gave you: give up, blame, and shame. How do I give up, blame, and shame? Forgiveness, integration, right? Start reparenting yourself, because who is blaming and shaming is your inner child, right? It's your unhealed wounds, the inner child that's still hoping that my boss, right, gives me the love that my dad didn't give me. This is very unconscious. This is very unconscious, okay? It's not something you're thinking or doing consciously. Again, if you've never done work on your psychology, right, I recommend you just do a good program, work with a therapist, like really go in there, because besides having these tools that are going to help you put different lenses and change your behavior, you really need to go deep and take a look at that mold, because it's a mold. Our inner brain programming, it's a mold. And we need to rewire it, which means change the mold so that I can attract a different shape into my mold. Yeah. Okay, guys, I really hope this was helpful. I'm going to give you a link where you can download a sheet for this 4 stages of, it's a very simple sheet. It's the 4 stages of consciousness, and I'm just adding extra little spaces there for when you have a situation that you want to really take yourself through the 4 stages, you can write your notes in there and it can be helpful for you. Thank you so much. See you next video. Take care.